everyone to the Personal Brand Accelerator program. We're going to talk about really the who, what, when, where, how of personal branding. Personal branding in many ways is an ongoing process, right? Because you are practicing, you're developing, you're manifesting yourself over time as you grow and develop as a person within your career. Today, we're transitioning from the personal branding fundamentals to now building your personal branding foundation, right? You can't position yourself for opportunity unless you understand your motivations and what is your capacity. Now, at the very beginning, you should always be experimenting with your brand and engaging with the world, just trying to find out, okay, what experiments do you need to run to see where you need to be? There are a million different ways to make money with your personal brand, but you either got to do what is your biggest strength right now, right? Or you do where the most resources are available. A lot of people, when they're trying to monetize their personal brand, they focus on bucket 4 and 5, right? Where they're working with people to get speaking engagements, contracts. You're doing a lot of external activities to get that clout from the community to pay you for certain works. A lot of times people confuse marketing and sales to be the same thing, right? This is the reason why a lot of people, they have a personal brand. Let's say they got as far as to create a free or paid product, like a course or a retreat or a session. And they're putting it out there. They're quote unquote marketing it. They're promoting it, they're blasting it, but they're not monetizing, they're not making money. And part of the reason why is because they did not combine their marketing strategy with their sales strategy. But I could give you all the systems all day long, but it's up to you to turn it into a routine. And that does require checklists. It does require you really having the discipline to execute on that routine. So much has happened over the past couple of weeks. You have learned so much from start to finish. The best way I could end this is by saying that, look, like a lot of people wait their entire life to try to figure this out. You have the unique opportunity where you have this content for life, right? You have this journey for life where you are now given a blueprint to constantly keep upping your brand, keep accelerating your career, keep creating value, and also creating multiple streams of income for yourself in addition to any of the fundamental work that you do. All right. So hello, everyone. Hopefully you guys are doing well today on this fine morning and you're excited to kick off the Personal Brand Profit Launch. This is a multi-day series program where I'm going to teach you how to turn your reputation into revenue. The next couple of days is really going to be a dynamic one for many of you who are trying to build your brand, monetize, and scale your brand with purpose. This is going to be the conversation that you probably needed to really take your brand to the next level and really elevate your career to new heights. So before I switch on here, I want to make sure that everyone is really live and excited. Comment personal brands in the next 10 seconds. I want you to tell me the top reason why you are joining us today. Comment on the chat feed. Give me a quick comment. Why did you decide to join this Personal Brand Profit Launch today? I would love to hear in the comments. Give me some reasons why you joined in. It's because you want to launch your brand. You want to figure out how to personalize it. You want to figure out how to go into international markets. You want to start selling courses. You want to launch a conference. You want to get to know new players in your industry. Give me a comment in the chat feed or in the comments and let me know why you're here today, because each one of us, even though we have the same end goal, we have multiple reasons why we decided to come here today. So I hope to hear some great experiences and really connect with some powerful influencers during today's session. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive right in. And I want to first introduce this multi-day series is a 3-day training. And the Personal Brand Profit Launch, the aim is to not only teach you, but also show you time-sensitive strategies. Because we all know things are moving very fast in today's market. What you learn today may not be applicable tomorrow. So this is time-sensitive strategies and insight that you could implement immediately so you can do several things. First, you want to learn how to position yourself and your career for opportunities by creating a very strong and attractive value proposition. This is really important. Give me a comment if this is something that you're here for today. right? Now, give me a comment if you're also excited about the fact that you're going to learn how to audit your work life experiences to not only craft your story arc, but also attract the audiences that really want to follow you along the journey. I got some day ones on this track. Let me know if you've been a part of my journey over the past decade. Would love to give you a shout out because as you evolve with your career, I hear a lot of people say, when I'm ready, I'm going to launch my personal brand. When I have X, then I'm going to do X. When I do this, when I'm going to do that. Stop making the time sensitive strategies based on when you have certain things lined up. You will never be ready for what's next. So it's best that you just put yourself out there, right? So these are time sensitive opportunities for you to be able to evolve and grow with a unique audience. Another thing to think about too is for this live 3-day series, I want to help you identify 3 signature moments in your career that will serve as a foundation for creating your first series of digital products or products like coaching and services to really add value in your market. And of course, we'll culminate this 3-day series with a conversation about how to really diversify revenue streams with your personal brand in the form of public speaking engagements, partnerships, brand deals, and the like. So you can see the multiple avenues you can take on to really build and accelerate your personal brand. Okay. So with that said, I do want to give you guys a shout out that, definitely pull out your workbooks to be able to get ready for today's session. I have sent all of you a personal workbook for you to be able to go over the content over the next 3 days and really apply your learnings and really make sure that you print it out and actually handwrite it because it really helps for institutional memory. Don't just look at it and just not use it. Actually go through the workbook as we go through each session because it will help you tremendously, not only to solidify what we're going to discuss over the next 3 days, but also to be able to workshop through. I have a very workshop style of teaching where you apply what you're learning along the conversations that we're having. So it's going to be very crucial that you do that. Another thing to be mindful of, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be sharing with you templates that you could copy and paste and adjust based on your industry, based on your niche, based on the work that you do. So that way you don't have to overthink the email you need to write for an outreach for a speaking engagement, the layout for a newsletter, or the layout for a social media calendar series, right? You're going to be able to have all the templates that you need to be able to put yourself out there and go to market. So very, very important that you understand that during this personal brand profit live launch, you're going to have access to a lot of different content and a lot of different information. Okay. And another thing I wanted to give you guys a highlight, because I mentioned that, many of you will have the opportunity to be able to connect and really be able to capitalize on opportunities during this session. I want to give you guys also a window into how to monetize your personal brand for someone who's been able to build their personal brand on an international stage. I want to share with you a quick clip of how I was able to really get on main stages. And I want to share with you the journey of getting to that point really starts with having a really key positioning statements to attract certain audiences, right? So I'm going to share with you a quick video clip, and then we're going to go right into what we're going to get into for day 1 of today's session.
But this world, as big as it is, one person can be the tipping scale to really create a domino effect that no one ever seen coming. I would like to remind people, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to judge you and tell you you're too naive.
I wanted to show you that quick clip because I want to start by prefacing that everything I'm about to share with you over the next couple of days is not going to be the typical, very bland, cookie cutter statements about personal branding. Like, you need to build your network, you need to go to events. Like, I'm not going to do that over the next couple of days. I want to share with you that what I'm about to teach you is how to create movements, how to really galvanize people around your mission, galvanize people around the work that you do, and help people to understand that you, as you show up as an individual, as a person with purpose, you are showing up every single day to add value, to be of service, and really leave a very positive and powerful impression in the minds of others. That is really the ultimate goal of any personal brand. And I want to share with many of you who obviously have been in my ecosystem for the past couple of years are probably aware that I do tons of workshops and webinars around personal branding, but this series hits different. Last month, I did a 5-day training series to really give you guys the fundamentals of personal branding, right? All about bios, how to create a value positioning statement, how to really position yourself for digital products, like really the fundamentals. So if you were a part of that previous series, this series is not going to be the same content. I'm taking it a step further to talk about how to, really monetize that brand, take it from, launching to profitability, but furthermore, to really go deeper, to give you insights as to what's happening when it comes to personal branding in today's day and age, and how to really tap into the world of your career and your industry and break through in a completely different way. Because when you have a strong personal brand and you cultivate it, you are able to do things that you didn't think was even possible on paper. And that's the ascension I want you to get to at the end of these 3 days, and understand the simplicity and the capacity that you have to actually do this. Okay, so we're going to take personal branding to a completely different level. So with that said, I want to introduce myself. My name is Christina Tim. A little bit about me. If this is your first time coming to my corner of the internet, welcome. Thank you for joining in, right? I am Christina Tim. I am the founder and CEO of the Global Startup Ecosystem. And over the past decade, I have launched and managed 4 to 5 different revenue generating companies. All right. And in my career of building multiple ventures as a serial entrepreneur, I've also spoken at over 300 plus conferences around the world. So I'm a global speaker. I'm a tech ecosystem builder who have built tech ecosystem along with governments and stakeholders around the world, which is why I have an international brand, not just an industry brand, not just a national brand. I have an international brand, and I've been doing that around the world and been featured in many different major media outlets around the world. I've been very blessed to have my story shared in countless magazines and countless news articles and countless community networks. And I will say that a lot of the signature products that I created to monetize my brand, whether it was monetizing through speaking engagements, monetizing through events that I was hosting, or monetizing it through digital products, was all purely based on the experiences that I lived and worked over the past decade. So nothing that I'm teaching you is from research or, something that I found in a book. This is all purely based on the work that I've done, hosting 400 events, working with Fortune 500 companies, working with celebrities, and all while living my life. And I want to connect with you personally as well, because we're not just our resumes. We're all individuals with families, with, legacy, with, goals and aspirations on a personal level. So I do want to share with you that I'm also a mother and a wife, and I have a lot of personal goals that I've done, like, launching a farm, starting a fashion line, all different things on a personal level that I've done. So I'm looking forward to really getting to know you too over the next couple of days as we discuss not only personal branding, but how to manifest your goals and aspirations for 2024 and beyond. So I hope you're ready for that. So comment in the chat, ready, if you're ready for a real intimate conversation. Even though we're live here, I'm still looking at every person who's live with me today, commenting on the feed. I'm really engaged and hyper focused on really serving you in a way that is going to be truly memorable. That's my goal for today. So with that said, I want to preface this conversation by saying that, look, I'm aware that we have a very uncertain economic climate, and a lot of people are looking for multiple solutions. A lot of people are trying to repivot their careers, repivot their brands. Some of you, when you sent DMs and messages to me and my team, a lot of you say, like, look, I'm looking for something new, or I'm ready to take my current industry, my current profile to the next level. I just don't know how to do it without being too risky. And that's the biggest thing right now. When we're in a time of economic constraints, like the one that we're in right now, many of us kind of fold in and we don't want to take too much risk, which makes sense because you don't know if a lot of the, action steps that you might try to get into will actually be fruitful, right? So I completely understand that. But you did make the right decision to be here, because obviously this conversation is for the entrepreneurs, the decision makers, the corporate professionals, the athletes, the musicians. If you are working, you're a working professional, you need to figure out and you need to learn how to really build and monetize your personal brand effectively. This is the reason why being here in this time and place, because some of the strategies I'm going to share with you, it's only a matter of time before you have to pick up and start with a new strategy, a new outlet, a new way of doing things, because things are moving very, very fast. I will say there's fundamentals that are timeless, and I'm going to share with you those fundamental timeless strategies that never go away, no matter what the trend is, no matter what the economic, climate is, but the application does adjust. And so I want to share with you not only the strategies, but the application of those strategies. All right. So with that said, let's have a little bit of a reality check, okay? Because I told you I want to come to you very direct today when it comes to personal brand, because a lot of us got it twisted, right? And some of you, I want you to take a picture and a screenshot of this slide, because it's going to be something that's going to really ingrain the state of the world today and how it's affecting you when it comes to building your personal brand and building credibility in today's age. And I'll start with the first and probably the most obvious, but a lot of people are kind of treating it like an elephant in a room and not addressing it. Right now, expertise is now a commodity. Okay, let me get that very clear. You being able to do something, a skill set, is no longer a unique thing. Anyone can pick up on skills right now. Anyone can learn through YouTube, through Skillshare, through all the digital courses that has pervaded the internet over the past 10 years. You can learn by trying, you can learn by experimenting. There's fellowships, there are programs. Literally, the world is ready to teach you the skills and the expertise you need to build your career. So being an expert at anything is not a big deal anymore, right? That expertise is now a commodity. So for those of you who are stuck, just shouting to the rooftop, the list of credentials that you have, stop it, okay? People no longer care, right? That you are an expert in anything. They want to see results, which goes back to number two, the resume is outdated. Granted, you still need the resume to play, but it's no longer the deciding factor that's going to get you opportunity. So the resume is out, portfolios in. And what I mean by portfolio, not just a lookbook of pictures and videos. What I mean is you need to have kind of like a storyline, a vast, array of examples, case studies of work that you've done to impact others that's visible for others to say, right? You no longer just list out, I've worked at this company, I did this, that does not work anymore. You need to show people, not tell people, you need to show people what you've done. So the resume is out, portfolios in. And as a result, even though we feel like everything is about the mean generation right now, objectives are not outdated. Your objective in this world, in terms of my objective is to get hired to work at this company because of this expertise. My objective is to do X, Y, Z. That is an outdated thing. People connect to people who have mission statements. Mission statements are the future. People want to know your why a lot more than your what. They don't care what you do or even how you do it. People want to hear your why. And let me tell you why people want to know your why. We have been bamboozled and played and frustrated for so long, because now we're all experts on the internet, right? We're no longer immediately fooled by certain marketing schemes. So people are a lot more skeptical, right? So your mission statement needs to be so grounded that people understand and respect the why that you're going in. So for me, people can understand my why, the work that I do, because I'm a serial entrepreneur who's created flexibility for myself and my family, as a mom, as a wife. So people understand the motivation to help others do the same, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of people's why is replicating their success and showcasing that to other people, right? What is your mission? That is the future. The objective is no longer a preference. The next trend I wanted to share with you that is really important, that trust is now built online, not offline. This is really important that you understand this, because what is happening now is You could be doing the work in the real world, as they say, right? Doing the work, connecting with people, making, bells and whistles with the work that you're doing online at the workplace in your business. But if people cannot find you online and be able to research you, there's no ability for them to build trust with you. I will tell you, I'll give you a perfect example. I met a lady at a conference, and I just came off the stage and I just rocked the mic. Okay. Came off. So a lot of people were in a networking mood. So were networking with me at the conference. And I remember this woman, she came up to me. She's like, "Hey, you did really well. I looked you up online. You do really well." I'm like, "Oh yeah, but what do you think about the speech?" She was so focused on reiterating to me that she has saw me on LinkedIn and been following me on LinkedIn, that she just couldn't care less about me reinforcing what I'm doing in person, because she knew unless she was able to find the work that I did online, she didn't want to hear anything else. And a lot of people, you'll find that if they cannot understand the work that you do online, branded in a way that makes sense to them, they almost really will question your credibility in the real world, right? So it's really important that you understand that trust is built online. People immediately, before they'll work with you, before they'll engage with you, they're going to research the hell out of you. Okay. They want to see what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, right? People are doing the research. So trust is first built online before it's built offline. Okay. The fifth trend that's really, really big, LinkedIn, like, they have the long-term strategy, y'all. I remember when all the social media profiles, because I'm a millennial. So I was here before social media was a thing. And now I'm here when social media is just like literally, just a part of everyday life. And when Facebook was coming and Twitter was coming and Instagram was coming, and all these different platforms, everyone really kind of put LinkedIn as like for the boring people. Like, people didn't really tap into LinkedIn. But now, credibility is also now first built on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, by the way, is even more important than your website. And if you didn't hear this before, let me say it again for the people in the back. LinkedIn, no matter how much money you spend on your website, is more important than your website. And let me tell you why. Not only is an amazing search engine platform where people can find you easily. If they go on Google right now, LinkedIn is part of the search engine. So it's easy for people to find you and the work that you do. In a world of overwhelm, where people are constantly trying to make short-term decisions in a matter of 3 seconds or less, LinkedIn has a very consistent format. So some people, you go on some website, you got to find their bio in this part, their speaker information on this part, their digital products on this part, their press media in this part. LinkedIn, everything is the same, right? So people are able to make immediate decisions by sifting through LinkedIn profiles, then clicking and going back and trying to find your website. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't mean that you don't need a website for your personal brand. That's going to be a conversation for tomorrow, right? But what I'm saying is, this free page on the internet is going to be a crucial part of you building a personal brand. So if any of you are sleeping on LinkedIn, stop it today. It is literally the force on the internet that's building your credibility. Don't take it for granted. Okay. The sixth thing is, and this is probably more obvious, people now trust individual brands over institutional brands. Institutional brands used to be, when I was growing up, buying something for an institution, you just couldn't imagine an institution robbing people, hurting people, doing the most awful things that we see on news and media waves all the time now. There was a point where an institutional brand was it was the golden key to everything. Now we have been conditioned to understand that institutional brands can be very greedy. They care about the bottom line. They care about their shareholders. So we question institutional brands a lot more than individuals, because we recognize the societal risk that someone takes by effing up their personal brand, right? There was a time where institutions, if they broke that promise, that brand promise, they will lose customers in droves, right? But they no longer have that fear. But individuals have that fear, right? You know this, right? You don't want your reputation to be tarnished, because that closes bridges and opportunities, right? So you are very careful about how you network, how you navigate, how you articulate with people you don't like, how you engage with people that you do like. So we all recognize that people have more trust in individual brands over institutional brands, for sure. So very important that you understand the power of your individual brands over institutional brands right now. Very crucial that you understand that. Number 7, And this is probably the saddest thing, because things are moving so fast. Information and strategy is now time sensitive. This is the reason why, if you find someone on the internet you love and admire for the work that you do, you follow them, because you want to stay updated with what they're going to update you for. So I have a lot of people who follow me on social media purely because they know that I have time sensitive information that I'm sharing on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. Okay. So even this conversation I have right now, I am boiling down probably like 5 years, 2 years, 3 years of trends and analysis in about 15 minutes. Right. That is extremely valuable for many of you who probably subconsciously are noticing these things, but I'm validating a lot of awareness to you in a very short time frame, right? So with that said, what I might be sharing with you as a strategy today may not be as applicable 3 months from now, 6 months from now, because things are moving very fast. I have students where I always tell people, anyone who joins any of my programs, you're part of the program for life, because every single year I update that program live, because I recognize things are moving very fast and you need to be ready for what's next. So information and strategy is very time sensitive. The next big trend that's really, really crazy when it comes to like thinking about the ecosystem and how it's affecting your ability to build credibility in your workplace, in your industry, in your community, is that influencers are now grassroots. We no longer give a damn that you have multi-million followers, because we realize that some of you who have multi-million followers can convert, can't do ish, can't do nonsense. I've seen people, and I have done it myself, monetize 6 figures with 100 mighty followers than someone who got 1 million people following them on Instagram. This is something that you could Google right now. Celebrities who are going bankrupt, celebrities who are going through it financially with millions of followers, it doesn't matter. So you might think that, okay, if you're thinking about the clout of just trying to chase the numbers in your social media feeds, stop that right now. I'm telling you, the easier way is to find the people who really want to work with you than to find the people who just want to follow and just be passive aggressive about what's going on in your feed. Right. And you don't got the time to be arguing with people who are crazy, who are not adding any value in your life, who are not even engaging with you in discourse, who just want to be ready to comment and say some nonsense on your post. You don't want that in 2024 and beyond. Right. So influencers are now grassroots people, right? People who are not just focused about having millions of followers, but converting because they're having the tangible, direct conversations. And the reason why they're having direct conversations, the reason why people with small audiences are winning in 2024, because of the next one, the riches are in the niches. I'm sure if you hear any digital creator on the internet right now, you probably have heard this, right? That the riches are in the niches. A lot of you want to speak to everybody, but if you just target one specific audience, and for a lot of you, your target audience is people that look and speak like you, because you know the challenges that you want to serve, right? So you're able to attract that audience. It's no coincidence that I try to support, female entrepreneurs or female corporate professionals, because I'm one myself, right? So stop going broad, because you will find that it will be easier for you to get to $1 million of revenue, clout, and opportunity, right? By zoning into a focused audience, then try to reach out to everybody, and everybody's confused because nobody's really served, right? So the riches are in the niches. Try to zone down, because this is where the money and the opportunity is. As that person who is not just reaching out to all people who are trying to build their personal brand, but people ages, for example, 18 to 35, who are early in their career, who are women of color, who are trying to really do the damn thing on the internet. That's the target. That group will be my mighty 300. They'll be my Spartans, right? Who will go out there and be my ambassadors to get everybody else. So stop trying to appeal to everybody else. Appeal to the people that you want to serve. And I'll tell you right now, it will manifest into global audiences around the world. I did this from scratch a couple of years ago, and it made all the difference. So the riches are in the niches. Stop going broad. And the last thing I will say is that you need to be very, very aware that value messaging is a lot more prominent than titles. People do not give a damn that you are the CEO of XYZ. It no longer is relevant. No one cares. It doesn't matter, right? Because almost everybody on the internet say that this the CEO of something. So the weight of that title no longer holds the same weight anymore, right? What people value now is your messaging. Whom do you serve? And we'll talk about this later on today. But when you're very clear on whom you serve, that's more valuable because now people have a conversation starter and know exactly what they need to do to work with you and really engage with you. Right? So these are the 10 trends that are happening right now. And when you are aware of these 10 trends, how you go about building your personal brand and engaging with individuals and working with people, you're so targeted that you're going to see a lot of results a lot quicker. Right. And so, with that said, I know for a fact over the next 10 years, everyone's going to need a strong personal brand message because in today's digital economy, you cannot engage with anyone without a strong brand. People are going to research you anyway. There's no choice. There's nothing you could do about it. Before people work with you, they're going to research you. So, what is the internet going to say about you? Tell me, right? If people research your brand right now as we speak, okay, what are they going to see? Are you proud of it? Are you shy? For those of you who are on the call, like, oh, when I have this, when I have my website, I'll be my. You can't say that anymore. I am going to research you no matter what. And God forbid you say that, oh, I'm just not going to show up on social. That's even more sketchy. If in today's digital economy, I can't find one social media thread of you, I'm even more skeptical. I'm going to run for the hills. So you cannot do this thing where you're saying, when I'm ready, then I'm going to build my personal brand. Your personal brand is there already. We all have it, but did you craft it? Did you build it? If people research your brand right now, are you proud? Are you ready? Are you engaged? Is it the right message that you want to craft for the world? And if it's not, let's fix it. Let's build it. Let's do this. Right? So that's what we're here for today. And when you think about a strong personal brand, it not only gets you to attract the right audience, it really builds resilience for your career. I will start by saying that it is the best insurance you could create for your life when the business fails, the job lays you off, this partnership deal didn't go through. It is the insurance you need for the rest of your life. This is your insurance package. This is your retirement package, is your personal brand. Okay? This is it. Your personal brand, this is what you're going to take with you to the grave. You cannot play around with this. This is your insurance. This is what's going to make you resilient when the economy is going up, when the economy is going down, when the economy is going sideways. You are ready. This is your insurance package. And the best part, those of you who are very, very, very committed to building that personal brand, this is what's going to give you the breakthroughs that you hear about every single day. Those stories that inspire you when you hear someone, they will, at their tails and they were at their back is against the wall. They don't know what to do. They don't know what's next. And they had that breakthrough. It's because they crafted a strong personal brand that positioned them for opportunities. This is what a brand does for you. Right. And so for many of you, you need to be aware that jobs are not the same. For those of you who are professional corporates, give me a comment if you're a professional, corporate professional in, working for a Fortune 500 company or a major company right now, right? Things have changed. People are no longer working at the same institution for 10, 20, 30 years. It doesn't happen anymore. In fact, a lot of people are switching jobs every 2 or 3 years. So if you're going to switch your career 15 times in your career, you better build a personal brand to connect the dots between each one of these titles and positions and companies that you're working for. Or else you'll always be building from scratch every 2 and 3 years. You understand how mad and crazy you gotta be to have the audacity to go out there in the world and rebuild your credibility over and over and over and over 15 times in your career. You will never get the right partnership deals. You will never be able to monetize anything. You will never be able to create a community to be behind you if you're going to keep restarting from scratch every single time. Let me get an amen if you guys are hearing me right now. I need to make sure this is sinking in, that you understand that the career roadmaps of the 21st century has completely shifted. So you got to be ready to have a consistent brand narrative that helps you make leaps between these new opportunities and not just transitions between opportunities, right? You need leaps, not just transitions. That's what a strong personal brand is, like that connecting thread that gives people chapters in your evolution, not just, transitions. Give people chapters. So that way, by the end of that, multi-year journey, you got a book, you got a story to tell. It makes sense. It comes together, right? And so even for my entrepreneurs, even entrepreneurship has changed. People now base their credibility in a company over the founder. You have seen multiple companies crash because the founder, like look at, Elon Musk, he says something, Twitter just, Twitter just goes sideways, right? X now, right? Same thing for SpaceX. We've seen so many different founders, when they're on the hot seat, it affects their company. And keep in mind, 90% of startups fail, either in the beginning or when there's a market shift. So you as a founder, you need to build the credibility on your personal brand where whether you succeed or lose, people want to invest in you. So it's crucial, even more crucial as an entrepreneur, that your brand stands the test of time, because when you come back to those investors, come back to those customers with another idea, whether your first one failed or succeeded, they're going to back it because you are the one doing it, not because of the idea, because ideas shift all the time, right? This is the reason for that. So in positioning yourself for what's next, this is the crucial step. So for many of you, when it comes to building your personal brand, many of us have a lot of different challenges, okay? Give me a chat. Which one is your main challenge? And I'm hearing a lot of amen in the comments. People are really excited what I'm saying. You're feeling what I'm saying because you understand, you've experienced this, right? The challenges that I'm about to relay to you, right? So give me a 1 on the comments if for your personal brand journey, this is something I ask people all the time, just so I can make sure I see where people are at. Comment 1 if you're feeling lost and goal plan and you don't really know what the next step you need to take for your career, not just in terms of your personal brand, but you just don't know what to do next, right? Give me a 1 on the chat feel if you're just feeling lost in general. Give me a 2 if you kind of know what you're doing, but you just feel overwhelmed. There's so many different strategies to implement. There's so many trending hacks on the internet. Everyone is a crazy guru online. You don't know who to listen to. And you're just like, look, I just need someone to just like simplify the process. Give me a 2 if that's how you're feeling right now. A number 2 in the chat, right? Give me a 3 if you're just frustrated with the current work-life reality that you have. You want to make things happen, but you don't know how to radically shift your situation. You're just like, look, I know I need to make a change, but I'm stuck. Give me a 3 if you're actually stuck right now, okay? Give me a 4, right? If you are completely off track with your financial goals because you just don't know how to actually monetize your brand in any capacity. You don't know who to talk to, what to say, what to really craft, like what message, like you're just like, look, I need multiple streams of income right now. And I don't even know where to begin to use my expertise to monetize that. Give me a 4, right? Give me a 5, right? Someone's saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of the above, right? Oh, shout out to the comments right here. All of the above, right? Give me a 5 if you are just like, look, it's important. You know what you need to do, but you don't know where to start generating immediate results. If that's you, give me a comment on the chat feed so I can make sure I understand who's live, who's trying to figure this out, and where you need to be, right? And so with any of these challenges, it all starts with you understanding not only the trends and shifts that I shared with you earlier today, but recognize that for you to have a straight line of positioning to really get yourself from point A to point B, it really starts with you understanding that your journey is filled with life lessons that you can impart the wisdom to others. So usually when I share people how I've been able to craft my personal brand, I tell them what I've done. This time around, I wanted to bring the curtain back a little bit and tell you exactly what I did to build my personal brand at each stage of my journey instead. So that way you can see the strategies that I've done. And the secret I will tell you, this is the secret before I even move forward. How I was able to build and monetize my brand is I technically created a research and development department for my personal brand. What does that mean? When I was in college, I was known as the binder girl. Any opportunity I wanted, I researched the hell out of it. So if I wanted to apply to colleges, I had like 30 different binders and I was going to submit hands down at least 50 different applications. And I did do that. I applied to close to 40 different applications for colleges, got accepted to 20 something and selected to go to Dartmouth, the farthest Ivy League up north in the United States, right? I did that. When I realized it cost $250,000 and I will need to fundraise and get scholarships for that, I applied to over 120 different scholarships. I got a couple, about 11 or so, and I was pretty much, I got to go full ride, paid in full to go to college for free. $250,000 paid, right? Research and development. When I was trying to launch my first business, I needed funded. I researched all the different, prizes and competitions that I could pitch for because I knew investors would be very difficult to pitch. So I tried to pitch and win competitions. I applied to over 90 something different applications, got rejected a lot of times, got seven, was able to raise $250,000 in 6 months. The point is research, apply. Research, apply. It's all a numbers game. So when it comes to building your personal brand and getting your word out there and getting yourself out there to other people, it's really how many people are you connecting with? How are you doing your due diligence in the market? And how you're just putting yourself out there, right? A lot of us want to be too perfect before we make the first steps. Don't do that to yourself. Put yourself out there and create that R&D department for yourself, because eventually that resilience starts to be associated with your personal brand, and more people want to work with you because you're just like hashtag team winning at this point, right? Because all people see is you winning. They don't know the multiple different hours you spend researching and just applying over and over and over, right? So these are the things that you need to be aware of in terms of getting the word out there. And so for me, when I was in the corporate space, I quit my corporate job. And before I got into this opportunity, I built my personal brand at the institution, not only as a sales and development professional. I got into the program through a fellowship program that I researched multiple management training programs because I recognized that it was a rotational opportunity to get access to multiple people at the organization, which is what I wanted. And I built my personal brand. I volunteered at every department that I worked with. So every department I worked with, I not only did my 9 to 5 job, but I always did like a project that I knew that the department needed. And I built a personal brand in the institution where I was now speaking with C-level execs at the highest level of the company, at the bank, because different departments knew me. And by the way, when multiple departments are speaking about you, it's very hard for them to let you go because you are the company will pretty much be disrupting multiple departments with your absence, right? And so eventually I was even, tasked with traveling across the East Coast to recruit the next, level of early hires, simply because the way I navigated through the institutions, they wanted me to teach other people at the institution how to do the same. Right. And so these are things where at a very early time in my career, I've recognized the power of teaching and giving, and not just creating more work. Because a lot of you just create more work for yourself. You take on more from the job. It's not that. It has to be something tangible that's outside the scope of work, but that is in your zone of expertise. I was really good at teaching. I didn't realize at the time I was good at teaching. And so I was able to do that really well in recruitment. Right. So this is a perfect example within my career of how I was able to do that. I already shared with you when I first launched my startup, how I was able to apply to multiple different, funding outlets. And I was getting so good at it. The reason why I got in so many different media outlets is because I started to teach entrepreneurs free sessions where I had 200 entrepreneurs, 300 entrepreneurs, like the room will fill up and we had to close the door. Those private sessions of me teaching entrepreneurs how to fundraise and build their startups was going viral, right? And not viral in the sense where millions of people around the world, but people were whispering. People was like, I just went into a workshop for 2 hours with Christina Tim, free workshop. She's boss. And that's when Forbes and Entrepreneur Magazine and Inc. Magazine, all of these different media outlets started coming into the workshops to take a peek, like what's going on here. And then people start to hear my story, my journey. How do I get to this point? Again, this is another stage in my career where giving back, being of service, and teaching others the blueprint that I created momentum, not only for them, but also for myself in terms of my personal brand being out there, right? Same thing with my speaker career. A lot of people don't know this. Before I got into the speaker circuit, I volunteered at hundreds of events. When I relocated to Dubai after quitting my job in banking, I was literally going to close to 2 or 3 events per year. Per day, right? Where I will volunteer. And I'm not saying this is the same roadmap you need to do, but I'm just sharing with you that I was helping with registration. I was helping with onboarding speakers. I was helping with partnerships. I was helping with marketing. I was helping people with registration. And because I was connected with all these different event organizers, guess what? When they were looking for a good speaker to speak at their stage events, they thought of me, right? So once again, by giving back, they invited me to, be able to speak on stage, and my speaker career just kicked off like crazy. Now I'm a global speaker around the world, right? And obviously, as you start to build this credibility, you're at a stage in your career where you get global recognition and more people start to highlight you. You start working with celebrities and, connecting with so many different communities that you realize that, wow, like I started meeting the right people, right? And so with that said, what I learned in that process was that if you're going to build a personal brand and credibility right now, right, you have to get really, really good, right, at really being of service with your personal brand and really attracting the audience that you want to serve through the work that you do. And a lot of people think that, oh, so does that mean you have to show up every single day and do a lot of courses, do a lot of webinars? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that how are you showcasing to people that you know what you're doing, that you have credibility in the work that you do, that you've been doing it for a long time, and that you love what you do, right? These are things that you need to ask yourself. And I want to hear a comment like in a chat feed. How many of you, when was the last time you taught someone else what you do? Give me a comment on the chat feed. So tell me, when was the last time you taught someone how to do what you do? I want to hear this in the comments. You do, right? And a lot of times what I've found is a lot of people, they can't remember the last time they've done that for someone, right? They can't remember the last time they were able to build and really provide value for others. And that's very problematic, right? Because if you are not in the position of thinking about how to add service to other people, right? How you expect for people to want to pay and invite you to conferences to speak and get paid for it, invite you to be able to, be a consultant on a project, invite you to do a brand deal and a partnership opportunity? How are people supposed to do that, right? So these are the things that someone just said yesterday, someone said last week, right? These are the things that you need to think about when it comes to building your personal brand. How are you going to do that, right? How are you going to build on that and provide that value? Okay. So as I transition to now sharing with you the first step that you need to do within your personal brand, I want to state that one of the biggest things that you need to really think about when it comes to building a personal brand is, how do you want to be remembered, right? I share with people, I not only built a brand within my industry in the tech sector. I not only built a brand nationally within my country, I built an international brand, which means whether I'm in Africa, the Caribbean, or Europe, Middle East, people recognize my brand and the work that I do, right? Simply because I cultivated an international brand. Common International, if you are also trying to build an international brand, okay, comment international. I want to make sure I'm with the right people who want to go global. You're not trying to stay local. You're trying to go global with me right now, right? Comment on the chat if that's what you're trying to do, right? Because if that's what you're trying to do, look at the past clients I've worked with, right? A lot of people I've worked with are from all different industry sectors. And I think about the reason why these people work with me, because I was able, as a serial entrepreneur, I personally have launched over 47 different brands, including 4 companies in my career and counting, by working with different institutions, working with different entities and individuals along the way, right? So with that said, in order to build an international brand where people know you are around the world, to go global from local, there's 3 things that you need to think about, okay? One, your value message doesn't change. Is that your position might change in your career, but your value message of service needs to stay the same. That's what happened with me. Even though I was an entrepreneur, my value messaging of serving people as entrepreneurs was the same. My value message as a speaker was the same. My value message as a tech ecosystem builder was the same. Every single position and title I took on, I still gave the same brand message of value and service to others, right? So with that said, the first thing I want to share with you today is really making sure that we conclude with this basic fundamental lesson, which is the value positioning statement, right? What is your zone of genius and how do you craft that? And The old way, right? For many of you, you might say, okay, I don't know what my value is. I don't know how to really support others. I don't know how to really stand out from the crowd. The old way, a lot of gurus will tell you, do something that make you stand out, right? Maybe it's making you loud. Maybe it's because, maybe it's like how you dress. No, what you're going to need to tap into, what makes you the most confident, what expertise that you have right now makes you confident. And it might not be something that you have credibility in. It might not be that you have a certificate or a business degree or any type of awards in, but when you talk about it, you feel so confident. That's what you need to tap into in your personal brand. So for me, I'm not a certified coach or a public speaker, but I've spoken at more conferences and venues than a lot of these certified coaches out there. Can I get an amen? Right? So because I'm confident when I'm on stage, because I'm confident in the content that I'm delivering, it resonates and people want to work with me more. So what is it that you're doing today in your career that brings you confidence, that when you talk about it, you light up so hard that even if the person is not interested in what you're bringing, they're interested in you because you just light up the room when you talk about where is your confidence? That's what you need to tap into, right? Because when I talk about this is something that I go over in my personal brand accelerator program, where I share with people that you can no longer show up with your resume, just documenting your experience. And you no longer say, oh, well, I'm an expert because I've been doing this, that, and you show up at networking events, just showing off your credibility. No, what you want to get to is where you are so confident that you're able to feel like an authority on this on a subject, where now you're starting to enlighten people. When I'm talking to people about personal branding and public speaking, I'm shifting their mindset on it, right? So I'm enlightening people. So people can tell like, yo, I want to have a real one-on-one conversation with this girl because she knows what she's talking about. How many of you know that you're so confident about a certain subject that no one can stunt your conversation because you're ready to have that conversation with people? Give me a amen in the chat if that's who you are. This is where we get to value distribution, when you become an authority on a subject, because people want to now step into your zone of genius because you're so confident giving that conversation. Right. And so how we're going to do this is, if you go to your workbook right now, right, on the first page, you're going to see the zone of genius, right, where I'm going to ask you to really write down, list out all your work experiences, list out all your lived experience. And probably the biggest one is your ask experience. What do people repeatedly ask of you, right? So for example, even though I'm a serial entrepreneur, public speaker, tech ecosystem builder, right? A lot of people always ask me, Christine, can you help me write my speaker proposal? Can you help me write my business proposal? Because people recognize I'm really good with copy and writing, right? So that's a zone of expertise I could talk about because I'm so confident about it and people are always asking me about it, right? This is where you're going to find the area where there's so much demand in your work experience, your ask experience, your lived experience for you to go to market. Right? And we're going to double down on this tomorrow during tomorrow's session. But this is the zone of expertise that you want to tap into because you're confident to talk about this, right? This is the zone of opportunity that you're destined for. And the way to tap into this, when you're confident about a subject matter, then you're able to tell people, I can help you with that topic. Are we following? If you're confident about food, you're going to want to tell people, let me tell you about how to cook your food, right? If you're confident about steel metal, then you're going to tell, I want to talk to you about steel metal customization and how to do it. I help people do that, right? This is called positioning. Once again, you are confident about a subject matter because I know this, I've lived this, I work this. Now you can tell other people how to do the same because you are confident. And this is where you get into positioning. And positioning, it's a great conversation starter. This is what I do on my website and everywhere I go, where my positioning statement here is, I help women succeed online, right? Because as an entrepreneur, I help people monetize their personal brands, build digital businesses. So I help women succeed online, right? Where I tell people I come online to help people build, scale, and monetize their personal brand and digital business virtually, right? So you see how that value proposition, that confidence I have in helping people monetize online, I'm able to say, this is my service. This is my value positioning statement, right? So for many of you, give me a comment on the chat. What is your value statement? And if you need some help, the value positioning statement looks like this. I help, who do you serve, to do what, because of why, Okay? Answer this question and send it to me on the chat feed right now. I'm gonna give you a couple seconds. Tell me, who do you want to help? If you're confident about growing tomatoes, all right, who do you think needs to learn about growing tomatoes, and why do you think it's important that they learn? So for some of you might be like, look, I help young women grow tomatoes because I want them to be able to be reconnected to the food and be able to have resilience with food processing, right? End of story. Right? What is your value position and statement? Who do you want to engage with, and who do you want to serve? Right? My value statement, if I want to give you an example, is I help women entrepreneurs to monetize their brands to create a flexible, fulfilled lifestyle. It makes sense because I'm replicating the success I created for myself. It worked for me. It worked for other people that I mentored and coached. So to the massive audience, I want to continue to do that work because I'm confident in doing that. You see how easy that becomes? You no longer are someone who's trying to research and do all the work to trying to find trends and topics and go on the TikToks. No, you are simply showing up and say, like, look, I am confident about this subject and I want to help people get confident with me because I know how to make them do XYZ result, right? That is the goal of your value statement. Right. And again, just bringing it back full circle, this is what I do on a regular basis. Right. I'm seeing some of you guys on the chat send me your value statement. This is beautiful. I'm going to start sharing that. Guys, like, I want to start sharing some beautiful value statements that's coming up right now. Jennifer just said, I help tech entrepreneurs with market research on marketing strategy. This is beautiful. Right. And I would even zone out and zone down and say, like, I help tech entrepreneurs find their market, target market with time sensitive marketing strategies that work, right? Because you're helping entrepreneurs find who they need, right? Let's get straight to the point. What are you helping them to do? So this is a powerful, value position statement. Keep them coming, guys. I love Deborah's, right? I help tourism boards learn how to create cultural heritage audio tours so they can attract tourists and enhance the experience. That's very powerful, very targeted, right? She helps tourism boards. That's her who. What does she help them do? Create cultural heritage audio tours, which is kind of cool because I heard of people do in-person tours where people are going around the world, but audio tours, there's a uniqueness there, guys, right? And why does she help them do this? So she's serving them a purpose so they can attract tourists and enhance the experience. Beautiful, right? So this is something for her, for both of these individuals, right? They're able to say, this is what I do. It's a lot better than she's saying that I'm the CEO of tourism tours, right? That doesn't resonate as much as her saying exactly, this is what I do, right? I see another one. This is beautiful, guys. Keep them coming. I help mid-level professionals as career mentors. I also do training. So let's zone in on this, okay? I want to troubleshoot this, right? Let's get really core in here, right? I help mid-professionals do what? So I help mid-professionals find their career calling by training them on how to enhance their careers, right? Because you're talking about training to do what? You're mentoring them to get to the next stage of their careers. So you got to be very targeted. Like, okay, we know your who is a mid-level professional. What are you helping them do? Get to the next stage of the career. And how do you do that? You train them. And then you can be even more specific with virtual training, workshop training, maybe something specific, personal branding training, career coaching training. All these different things, you can get very, very specific really, really quick. And anyone who needs that and they find you on LinkedIn, they find you online, they're going to message you and DM you immediately, right? So you see how when you come full circle, it really helps when it comes to navigating the path, right? So value positioning statement is so crucial. It's the first step to you creating a personal brand DNA. And what is a personal brand DNA? A personal brand DNA has three components. It has your value statement, which is your positioning, right? You say in your position statement, I serve X to do what because of Y. And when you want to serve that purpose, have you noticed a lot of people who are called, are answering the call of their destiny to serve people with a purpose? They also have a value story. They can share with you the journey that they did together. So for example, I help entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, monetize their brands online so they can have a flexible lifestyle. I can share with you the journey, the highs and lows of like how I lost everything in my career when I, was pregnant with our first child. I can get speaking engagements, I can then close deals because there's a little bit of taboo in the tech industry with pregnant women working around doing business, right? So that path and that journey got me to this positioning of serving people with my value signature. That value signature, this is where you got to be proud of who you are, where you come from, and how you show up. This is your cadence. This is your style. This is your flow. This is your everything. Some of you are shy. Be proud of being shy. Some of you are introverts. Be proud of being introverts. Some of you say that you're bland, you're accountant. Be proud of doing that, because whatever your signature, what makes you unique, that's the unique promise people are looking for. It's not just your content. So for me, a lot of people say, Christine, your content is phenomenal. What you share, the insights you bring is powerful. But I also love how you do it. You get me fired up, right? People say my energy is just like, yo, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. That's my signature. That is me. When I step in and I give you full frontal energy, I come with my energy, my heart, my soul, my vulnerability. That's my signature. Some people are like, yo, Christine, I'm not like that. I'm very laid back. I'm low key. Yes. If that's how you are, tap into that. Because the thing is, we're so annoyed with people being inauthentic that when we see someone just, being who they are, it's kind of sexy. It's kind of nice. It's kind of magnetic, right? You like when you see someone being themselves because you're so tired of seeing everyone being someone else, right? So these are the three main components of a personal brand DNA. So that value statement, if you see a lot of people on LinkedIn, they're all doing it now. They're changing their titles. This is the trend, right? They're no longer saying that they're the CEO of XYZ. They say, I help entrepreneurs do XYZ. Have you seen that? Right? And you're seeing that people are more vulnerable with their stories and their journey of getting there, right? And you see that people's signature, people are showing up online on webinars and workshops and all these different ways to show their character, to show their credibility, to show their individuality, no matter what it is. Right? That's the personal brand DNA that you're creating, right? And that's what gets you in front of the masses, because once you want to attract the people who ideally want to work with you because you are you. You don't want to attract people who don't like you for who you are. You don't want that. There's plenty of room for everyone. Guys, there's 8 billion people on the planet, okay? You are going to find the right trap that you need for the work that you do. Right? So I'll conclude this conversation by saying the value positioning statement is the first step to actually get into the other side of this equation, where you're going to start to monetize your personal brand through consulting, through coaching, through courses, through conferences, through contracts, through brand partnerships, through published bookings, through business ventures. Give me an amen if you want to be able to monetize across so many different industry sectors. You want to be able to try so many different outlets to see the reach and the power of your expertise in multiple different formats, and you want to see the revenue generating opportunities that will come your way by monetizing across all these different channels. And what you will find is that the ability to do all of this, right, to monetize your personal brand, your expertise through consulting and coaching and courses and conferences, start with visibility. And here's where tomorrow is going to be a powerful session with you. Visibility to be able to get the right audience to do all these things to monetize. You have been told that the only way to do that is showing up every single day on social media, doing constant newsletters, doing constant YouTubes and podcasts and boot camps and webinars. All of this is great. But the shortcut to monetizing your expertise is the live launch model. And I'm going to teach you how to do that in tomorrow's session. This is the secret that I'm going to share with you that's going to blow your mind, that when you understand the power of this model is so simple and the repetition of this model, you will see the shortcut you need to get to success to be able to finally turn your reputation into revenue. We'll go over this tomorrow for sure. Okay. So with that said, tomorrow we're going to dive into how to turn your content into cash flow. And what I mean by that is not what you're creating on social media. I'm talking about anything that you create, right? As a consultant, as a coach, I'm going to share with you how to create content that really positions you for actual paid opportunities, either as a speaker, as a digital course, as a program, as a consultant. I will share with you that on session 2 tomorrow. You don't want to miss this, because I'm going to share with you the models that you're going to use to be able to scale that and really grow and scale your personal brand immediately. It's going to really rock your world. And after that, the third day of this live day, 3-day series, we're going to talk about now how to bring everything together, how to create a digital ecosystem for your personal brand. So your personal brand is resilient, is growing, is powerful, and it stands the test of time to build a legacy that not only that you're proud of, that you can maintain into multiple different career avenues as you pivot and adjust and grow your career over the next couple of decades. So with that said, this was obviously a powerful first session, and I hope that you guys found incredible amount of value. I do want to share with you that if you loved what I told you today, you're going to love what I'm going to show you how to do in my personal brand accelerator program. Now, I'm not going to come with all the bells and whistles and show you multiple flyers and this, that, third. I want to share with you that if you love what I teach you, let me help you do it, right? Because a lot of times, I know a lot of people are fatigued with digital courses because it seems like everybody's doing a digital course now, but my structure is very different. If you ever worked with me before, I host all of my programs live, right? And I host only 3 signature programs per year, once a year. And my personal brand accelerator program starts next week, right? Multiple weeks, 4 weeks, where I'm going to be live coaching, where it's going to be execution workshop. We don't do any teaching on the sessions, where I will share with you, okay, we need to create your bio. Let's do it right now. We need to start finding, speakers that you need to pitch to get on your next speaking engagements. Let's do it right now on the call. We need to be able to find opportunities for you to be able to find your next 100 clients for your next coaching programs. Let's, research an already right now. And then we're going to start sending the emails out. That is the structure of any accelerator program that I run live, because by doing it live with you over the course of several weeks, I not only could teach and show you and demo with you to help workshop through every action step that you need to do to really build and monetize your personal brand. But what I love, because you're on a call with me live, if you're saying, Christine, like, okay, this is great, it's working, but it's for some reason it's not clicking with me, I need help with here. I'm able to customize during these sessions and help hold you hand by hand, step by step, to help you deal with the planning and the outreach and the close, and doing this twice a week for 1 hour on these sessions. So if you are ready to have someone hold your hand and help you through that, let's do this. Let's work together. And for many of you, obviously, once I open the doors for this, I always sell out every year. People always dive right in. If you're serious about making an investment and trying to do this personal brand accelerator this year, I want to have a smaller core than I had last year. So that way I could be able to really help people launch their personal brand in 2024 and hit multi-figure launches so they can see the monetization of their brand this year in 2024. Book a call with me and my team. I'm sharing it on the thread right now for you to be able to engage my team. Only book if you're serious about trying to invest in your personal brand and want to see an end 2024 on a high note. You want to make this year memorable and you want to be able to do that. Let's do that. Okay. And for many of you say like, look, how am I able to work with you, Christine? Like, you're so good. Like, what are these programs about? This is live coaching. Okay. So it's a group of all of you guys live. We're doing this and we're workshopping through. This is not me teaching you and just going over, step 1, step 2, step 3. We're doing the work together. So that way it's simple for you. Right? Because we're all overwhelmed. Many of you are tired. Maybe you got a lot on your plate. I want every time you join me live for 1 hour during this personal brand accelerator program, we're getting work done. We're productive. We're executing. We're getting things out there so you can see progress with your personal brand by working with me for 4 weeks. That's my brand promise to you, to do the work with you tangibly live on these session calls. So it's a very powerful value proposition for many of you who are overwhelmed but know you want to do this, who don't have the time but know you want to have someone hold your hand and want someone to be able to walk you through that process. I would love to work with many of you who are ready to do this. And again, I want to share with you, this is not a game. Do not join this program if you just want to watch me teach you for several weeks. Follow my YouTube channel. I have plenty of content. I have over 50 different webinars, free webinars that you can follow to learn the basic fundamentals. This is an execution series where every time you come on live with me, we're sending emails, y'all. We got Word documents that we're working and collaborating together. This is not a joke. I want to make sure that you are ready to show up live to do the work, for us to even make calls together, do the work and do the email outreach. that excites me because I'm able to help you in real time and help navigate the challenges with you and for you during that time period, right? So this is something that I'm really excited to announce. Once a year I do this. It goes live next week. So if you're interested in being a part of this program, book a call with my team. We could tell you a little bit more about it. Again, we're going to do a small cohort this year. I want to really customize the experience and pick some mighty influencers who are ready to take their personal brand to the next level and monetize their expertise and end 2024 with a high where they're like, I did it in 2024. I want to be that person that's right by your side for you to celebrate by December coming of this year. So with that, thank you so much for joining me for today's session. I had a blast. I know we're over for a little bit of minutes, but I wanted to make sure to really dive into the work today and really get you prepared, because tomorrow we're going to start having some templates where we're going to implement a lot of the strategies that we're discussing. Obviously, I'm going to do a lot more Q&A tomorrow. So today, I was able to share some of the comments and really, really be able to, help many of you with this content. So I'm going to continue to support many of you guys into tomorrow's session. So reserve an extra 20 to 30 minutes post the sessions, because if you have any questions, I want to be able to workshop through them tomorrow, because we're going to be introducing the templates for you to copy and paste, adjust, and really put the work out there immediately. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited that you guys were able to join me. I had an amazing time sharing with you all the things that you need to know about not only building your personal brand, but getting yourself ready to really find your greatness and putting it out there in a strategic way, in a simple way, by really finding your value proposition statement, monetizing your personal brand DNA, and going to market and going to work. So if you're ready for day 2, that's tomorrow, same time, same place. Let's do this. Let's get the work done. I can't wait to see you on the other side. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome, everyone, to the Personal Brand Accelerator program. We're going to talk about really the who, what, when, where, how of personal branding. Personal branding, in many ways, is an ongoing process, right? Because you are practicing, you're developing, you're manifesting yourself over time as you grow and develop as a person within your career. Today, we're transitioning from the personal branding fundamentals to now building your personal branding foundation, right? You can't position yourself for opportunity unless you understand your motivations and what is your capacity. Now, at the very beginning, you should always be experimenting with your brand and engaging with the world, just trying to find out, okay, what experiments do you need to run to see where you need to be. There are a million different ways to make money with your personal brand, but you either got to do what is your biggest strength right now, right? Or you do where the most resources are available. A lot of people, when they're trying to monetize their personal brand, they focus on bucket 4 and 5. Right? Where they're working with people to get speaking engagements, contracts. You're doing a lot of external activities to get that clout from the community to pay you for certain works. A lot of times people confuse marketing and sales to be the same thing, right? This is the reason why a lot of people, they have a personal brand. Let's say they got as far as to create a free or paid product like a course or a retreat or a session, and they're putting it out there. They're quote unquote marketing it. They're promoting it. They're blasting it, but they're not monetizing. They're not making money. And part of the reason why is because they did not combine their marketing strategy with their sales strategy. But I could give you all the systems all day long, but it's up to you to turn it into a routine. And that does require checklists. It does require you really having the discipline to execute on that routine. So much has happened over the past couple of weeks. You have learned so much from start to finish. The best way I could end this is by saying that, look, like, a lot of people wait their entire life to try to figure this out. You have the unique opportunity where you have this content for life, right? You have this journey for life where you are now given a blueprint to constantly keep upping your brand, keep accelerating your career, keep creating value, and also creating multiple streams of income for yourself, in addition to any of the fundamental work that you do.